Times News and Portal present weekly career program Agam Shiksha Sugam Career, Session 2, Episode 15. Let us understand our own body language first, English version. Producer Vivek Shrivastava, technical support Rajkamal Tripathi, secretarial assistants Devika, Rajnandini, Bhagiratna, Vishal and Arpit Mishra, resource person Dr. Agandhyal. Hello, good morning. You are welcome in the 15th episode of Agam Shiksha Sugam Career. Today we'll talk about, let us understand our own body language first. The knowledge of body language is very important for understanding the social, professional and family relations. The science of body language is also called kinesics. In the world, many authors have been authority of this subject, for example, Ellen Pease and Desmond Morris. Nierenberg and Calero has also written a book which has been published from Heinrich Hanau publication, London, How to Read a Person Like a Book. This book is a milestone in this subject. A few years ago, I had also written a letter to Pustak Mahal Prakashan, New Delhi, and put the desire about writing a book on body language. The publisher had already published a book on body language written by another author, Mr. Satyanarayan Jangir. They sent those two books to me and asked, what new will you write on this topic? This was a challenge for me. I wrote that there is no doubt, no book on applied kinesics describing application of body language in romance, marriage settlement, sales and marketing and interview facing. The idea worked and Pustak Mahal published my book on communication and body language. Till date, nobody in the world have written about understanding of our own body language. I feel that it is also important and now I discuss it. In future, this concept would also be included in the books of body language in world. There is a very popular disease amongst Indians about criticizing the others. This disease is more harmful than even AIDS, cancer, diabetes, malaria, etc. Every Indian is very wise. At the moment I am not talking about inhabitants of other countries. If you ask an Indian to analyze the talent of Narendra Modi, Sachin Tendulkar, Shakespeare, Mahatma Gandhi or Lord Ram, then he can deliver a long lecture about all of them. But I have seen that in most of the job interviews, when an expert asks from the candidate, tell me something about yourself, then the candidate becomes upset. As in his syllabus of class study, this topic was not included. The students try to reply in a very uncomfortable manner. It appears to be surprising, but it is a fact. So we should try to train our kids and students for replying this question in an interview. One of the most funny discrepancy about human mind is that a man always tries to evaluate, analyze, weigh, understand and change the other person. But when it comes to analyze your own self in accordance with analysis of other persons, then it becomes very difficult. It is a type of escape behavior, but it is very easy. In fact, the ego of human being is very deep rooted. A man always wants to be appreciated by other person, but does not want the complete and critical analysis of own self. Swami Vivekananda at one place has written about this problem. The moment I am unsuccessful, I say so and so is the cause of the failure. In failures, one does not like to confess one's own faults and weaknesses. Each person tries to hold himself faultless and lay the blame upon somebody or something else or even bad luck. So first of all, we will have to understand our own self. All our body's anatomy, physiology, psychology, thought and above all our spirit or soul also control our own self. We will have to do our SWOT analysis, where S is for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunities, and T for threat. We will have to follow the KISS principle of management, which means keep it short and simple. The activities of digestion of food, respiration, beating of heart of our body, all are controlled by both our nervous system and hormone secretion. Science believes in all these controlling systems, but science fails to explain about the energy coming out from our man, Maya, soul or spirit, and the Supreme Being, Almighty God. Although the planetary conditions also lay an important impact upon our daily activities and well-beings, but some of the links of this astronomy had been lost during history of some 1,000 years, so the complete picture is not clear to us. Pheromones and hormones secreted in our bodies have a different effect upon different ages in the physical, mental and spiritual development of boys and girls. Have not you realized that even at the age of 1-2 years, a boy likes to play with a car or a gun, whereas a girl likes to play with a kitchen set or a Barbie doll? There are many physiological and hormonal changes during change between childhood, teenage, puberty, menopause and the old age. Even our breathing system is different in boys and girls. During breathing process of a girl, the rib muscles or intercostal muscles of the breast are more active. In boys, the belly or abdominal muscles are more active during breathing. Nature has developed this difference in breathing pattern so that during development of a child in future during pregnancy, the developing embryo should not be injured by the movement of breathing muscles of abdomen. There is an entirely different situation in a developing girl during transition of pre-menarche childhood to menarche and menopause. During the age of 45 to 50 years, in a woman after menopause, menstruation stops and secretion of female sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone also comes to an end. This leads to big change in the psychology, physiology and behavior of a woman. Actually, this is one of the most important reasons behind the conflict between a mother-in-law and her daughter-in-law, the Sas and Bahu. There are three tendencies in the personality of human beings: Sattvic, Rajasi and Tamasi Vrittiyan, and these tendencies also affect the behavior of human beings. Do you know that the secretion of male sex hormone in gents leads to an aggressive behavior and more muscular and physical strength? In a female, the female sex hormone estrogen causes a thicker deposition of subcutaneous adipose tissue or fat layer beneath the skin. That is why ladies feel less cold and the ladies less frequently drown in a swimming pool or river while swimming. Near the fingertips, there is a more proliferation of blood vessels in girls. So if there is a knife cut in the finger, the girl bleeds much. Some of the secreted chemicals in our body are vasodilators. They spread the wall of blood capillary so that rate of blood flow is increased. That is why when a boy says a girl, "I love you," then due to secretion of steroid hormones of adrenal cortex, facial blood flow is increased. The girl's face becomes pink, the eyebrows and eyelashes bent down. Contrary to this, some other chemicals cause vaso-constriction or contraction of walls of blood capillaries. So if we see an accident, a death or a ghost, our facial blood supply is decreased and the face whitens. Life is like a rose plant. It has beautiful and good smelling rose flowers as well as thorns. If you pay attention towards the rose flowers present in life, then your life will also be more pleasing. Contrary to this, if you pay attention to rose thorns, it may prick into your finger, and for whole of life you will have an impression of thorny rose plant. Similarly, the famous flower of Queen of Night, Raat Ki Rani, is very pleasing and intoxicating, but the snakes are more prevalent near the sandalwood tree and flower of Queen of Night. So it is the two sides of the coin of life. You just enjoy it and be comfortable. Remember that every person present on this planet Earth is special in itself and is a separate entity or model. Every person possesses some good virtues along with some bad virtues also. In all our family relations and in colleagues working in the workplace, we will have to accept all individuals along with their both good and bad habits. I don't say that you should tolerate all atrocities put upon you, like the role of Meena Kumari in the famous film Sahab Bibi or Ghulam. Every person has a right to react and oppose all evil deeds and atrocities. Mahatma Gandhi had also given the message to Indian youth for fighting against all wrong deeds. One of the most important psychological events is that many times we do not react instantly after an event. The information sinks into our subconscious mind and memory. This information present in subconscious mind is retrieved into the conscious mind in three conditions. Number one, sometimes that information is repeated in our dreams when we fall asleep. And number two, sometimes in a condition of delirium in high fever, also we start talking in a non-coherent fashion. Number three, many times after an exposure of alcoholic drinks, tranquilizers and other drugs also, we lose our senses and start nonsense talking. The dormant feelings present in subconscious mind come on the surface in conscious condition, and unknowingly we start reacting abruptly. This is the reason why in most of the religions use of alcoholic and other drugs are prohibited. In fact, it appears that only brain of nervous system and hormones of endocrine system control our feeling, ideas and reflexes. But actually the spirit or soul present in our system also keeps a control on brain and thought process. Just in between our two eyebrows is the seat of soul or spirit, which is also called Agnya Chakra. Biologically, it is the place of pineal gland. If we can listen the suggestions, instructions and orders of our soul, our life can become more happier. One of the most important principles of management holds good in both our family and in the office team. Every individual possesses some good and bad virtues both. We have to utilize the good virtues of our fellow members for the benefit of the family and of the office team. This is funny that if we get an opportunity to evaluate our other persons, and while evaluating oneself, we use different scales of parameters, definitions and explanations. While evaluating others, we become critical, but while evaluating ourselves, we become defensive and protective. So, last but not the least, when we go in an interview, we have to project our real self. Do not put a mask upon your personality. The interviewer very clearly does a post-mortem of our personality and analyze the good and bad virtues of our personality. So please be simple and honest to yourself. First of all, listen the question asked by interviewer, try to understand and evaluate and then reply. Thank you.